But if you go back to the book and you look at the illustrations, Dorothy's slippers were silver, and that was the symbolism. The silver slippers, which basically was a less controlled, more abundant form of money, allowed Dorothy to tread safely on the dangerous yellow brick road, the gold money standard.
All right, stay there. We're going to go to the Emerald City, the man behind the curtain, all of it, straight ahead. Stay with us, folks. This is key information, The Secret of Oz, straight ahead. If you go back to the founding of this country, they were fighting fractional reserve bankers and money manipulators. Go back to Christ's time, he was fighting the money changers. Now, you go study ancient Chinese history. 3,000 years ago, they were having revolts over this, the manipulation of money. If you look at Abraham Lincoln, and before that, Andrew Jackson, it was all about the banks. The Wizard of Oz is about the banks and money. This is the issue, because if you let private groups control your issuance of currency and credit through different manipulations, you will be a slave. What did Thomas Jefferson say? If we ever let private banks and the corporations that grow up around them control the issuance of currency and credit, our children will, grow up homeless on the continent their forefathers conquered. This is what we're talking about. And Bill Still, the maker of the new film, The Secret of Oz, he is such an excellent filmmaker, such a great researcher. Continue. You've gotten up to the silver slippers on the yellow brick road. Continue.
Well, let me continue with what you were just saying. And yet, all of these things throughout history have disappeared from history books. So you have to ask yourself why. And the reason is that the banks control so much through loans, and that's why I have a friend who was just laid off from a major television network, and he's so mad at Morgan Bank because it came down to whether this TV network was going to pay the interest on their loans or they're going to lay off like the top 20 or 30 execs in this TV network, and so they laid off the execs. So, that's how banks control the media. They don't necessarily have to own them, but as long as you're mortgaged out to the max, any business that's mortgaged out to the max can't go against the bankers. That's why you see essentially rule by banker in this country right now.
Well, that's happened for hundreds of years. When farmers would start revolting and speaking out, the banks would just call their loans.
Which is why it's so amazing that we have, and we'll talk about it later, this wonderful example of a correct banking system with the State Bank of North Dakota. And, another thing that you said, this is such an important issue. As I pointed out in the trailer, this is the ultimate civil rights struggle, this ability of bankers to loan governments money. The absolute total solution to this is government borrowing should absolutely be forbidden by every nation on the planet. Nations have...
Governments don't need to borrow, like Lincoln and Kennedy said. They issue the currency. It's backed up by them.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's their most sovereign responsibility, according to Abraham Lincoln. Not defending the nation, not doing this or that. It's to have control of the money system. That's the most important thing of a nation. And it's to the point where we've reached debt saturation.
But see, let me interrupt. This is a short segment, long one coming up, and you can roll with all your great info. But Bill, even a lot of our listeners probably go, you mean the government borrows money from bankers, but it says U.S. money? No, it doesn't. It says Federal Reserve note.
Well, that's why you always see people saying, oh, the government's printing too much money. They're not printing it. They're borrowing it. That's twice as bad.
Explain that in layman's terms.
The government is not printing money. It's borrowing money by the issuance of U.S. bonds. That's how every single dollar in your pocket is created as a debt in this country. It's the debt money system. That's what they try to hide. That's why they try to have their politicians continually say, oh, we're going to pay down the national debt. Impossible. You cannot possibly pay down the national debt, because to eliminate the national debt would be to eliminate your money. To eliminate a portion of the national debt would be to eliminate a portion of your money. We need to go to a non-debt money system where the government issues the money debt-free without the interest. It's the interest that's killing us.
And that's what the Constitution says their job is. Congress shall control the issuance of currency and credit. But I watched Bernanke before Congress telling Ron Paul, you're not allowed to even know what we're doing because you're not supposed to be involved in it. I mean, this is completely 180 degrees the opposite of the truth.
That's exactly right. And it boils down to a question of whether you want bankers in control or you want Congress in control. Despite the fact that Congress might be corrupt, et cetera, government is all we've got. It's a blessing from God given us to try to control the banking establishment. That is the essential thing, the difference between us.
Yeah, if we had a real government like Thomas Jefferson, Kennedy tried to block him, they killed him. I mean, look. You need honest, fair money as the agreed-upon mode of exchange, and then goods and services and ideas are what have the value, instead of this parasite economy waging war against the real economy. Notice it's the big mega bankers that fund all the eugenicists and the fake environmentalists, and it's the carbon tax they're going to use to destroy our society. They are at war against real wealth. It is a black hole that you mathematically cannot pay back, and that's what your film explains. These people, it's either us or them, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Still's our guest. Secret of Oz, available on DVD at Infowars.com. You get it right now.
Only from the end of our elaborate plans, the end of everything that stands.
Well, this is fitting music.
No safety
On this 2010, July 4th that's coming up, we're at the crossroads, the total end of our republic, absolute bondage to offshore money-changing corrupt banks, being conquered fully and bankrupt as a tool of poverty and control, or a crossroads to bring them down and bring them to justice. And the momentum is starting to turn against them. I mean, when do you think you'd see my articles being quoted in major Australian newspapers in the Drudge Report, like dollar plunge after UN call to ditch greenback, replace it with a new global cashless SDR? Another level to the Ponzi scheme. The film is The Secret of Oz, available at Infowars.com. You can get a big discount on the Money Masters, the precursor to this film, which is just vital viewing for all, essential viewing, all at Infowars.com. We have the two shopping carts for you up there on the site, and we'll put those on screen for you. You can get The Secret of Oz and the Money Masters both at Infowars.com or by calling 888-253-3139. You notice I'm flogging this because anything that I see as a solution, like the film that I'm in, that we're carrying, Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic, how to take the states back, the counties, the sheriffs, how to peacefully take our nation back from this corporate takeover, I'm promoting it. And that's also available at Infowars.com or by calling 888-253-3139 or write to us at P.O. Box 19549, Austin, Texas 78760. If we just let these bankers... Bill, put it this way, and then let's get back into the film. I've read and scanned over and had Ron Paul on yesterday the Banker Reform Act that's passed the House and the Senate, but they have a different version. So they say it's going to pass in the next 2 weeks. It's in conference right now for those that just tuned in. And even the Washington Post admits, but said it was a good thing, that, the Federal Reserve will be given near complete power and autonomy to take over any financial institutions they want. There's smaller competition, state banks, local banks. And there is $600 trillion in derivatives, and this will fix it. I thought the TARP did a year and a half ago. And, I mean, it's incredible. So the group that's engineered this, let's give them even more power. So it's not just, we've got to beat them now. If we don't expose them now and give real solutions, they're going to use the crisis they created for even more power.
Yeah, it's ruled by banks. I mean, this isn't going to fix the crisis. For example, June 25th Newsweek article by Michael Hirsch put it this way. The bill, quote, effectively anoints the existing banking elite. The bill makes it likely that they will be the future giants of banking as well for all time. For example, do you know who the biggest investor in BP is?
Oh, yes, Goldman Sachs.
Oh, J.P. Morgan.
Oh, they were the biggest, but they dumped some of their stock right before. I forgot.
Right. Well, you know, and everybody's jumping on Goldman Sachs. I mean, they get a lot of. They should get a lot of blame, but J.P. Morgan in the derivatives mess is like 50 times bigger than Goldman Sachs, dwarfing Goldman Sachs. J.P. Morgan is the center of this whole black hole. And also I want to say something else. I just came back from a trip to Sweden, Germany, and Iceland, and I do want to talk about Iceland. Yeah, I know you had Birgitta on a couple days ago, but you're big, and there are people in Sweden and Iceland right now listening to this program right now. Your name is well known over there.
Well, worldwide, people are waking up thanks to your work. You certainly helped educate me. How many years ago did the Money Masters come out?
It was 14 to 15 years now.
Yeah. I want to digress. I didn't know that it was this show that inspired you to go down the yellow brick road with The Secret of Oz. What was said on the show?